Hello, I am JB Squiddy and I use PowerPoint for art and animation. Today I will cooperate with OneSkill PowerPoint to create a pop-up book animation using only PowerPoint. The rules are simple. The book opens, then 3 animated scenes appear for about 7 seconds and then the book closes. We may use freepik.com, but I like to illustrate everything by myself. So let's see what I came up with. Okay, so that was my take on this challenge. But at this time I didn't know what it was going to look like. I knew a pop-up book's best effect is when using 3D, but I was sure the animation would flop when I tried 3D in PowerPoint, so I just kept it to flat illustrations. In the beginning I didn't really know what I was aiming for, so most of the shapes were random. I did make a sword to make the book interesting, and that's when I knew it would be an adventure story, something with a powerful sword. I put JB on the sides of the sword to fill up some space, and after that it was time to give every shape its base color. In most of my work I use a lot of gradients, and I think I may say I pretty much mastered the use of gradients in PowerPoint. I then started trying some stuff to make the book look 3D, but it was really hard with flat illustrations. It didn't really work out the way I wanted, so I tried something different. I cut the bottom of the book in 3 parts and animated them so the book would open. I also made some pages, and this is the result until now. Now the cooler stuff could start. I animated some rotating pages as if the book would open and search for the right story. I also used some kind of title to introduce the video. I pictured the first scene to be a boat sailing on some water. The adventure could begin and the boat would head to the first location where the mysterious sword could be. For the waves I made these circular shapes that would rotate to simulate the ocean. I then made the boat. At first I wanted some land in the background, but I deleted it later because I liked the ocean better. To draw waves I used temporary squares that guide me to place the verticals evenly. And since the background is dark, I color the waves in the back a darker blue too. I filled the sky up with a big moon and some stars. For the clouds I drew a random shape and then moved the outline for each vertical, so it would look like a lot of circles together. I added some glow to the moon and went to the next scene. I wanted to finish the illustrations first, so animating would be easier. I just know I'm going to add stuff until the very end, but that's not a good thing when I'm already animating. For this scene I'm making a lot of trees. I picture the sword to be hidden in the middle of a mysterious forest, so that's what we're making now. It is a lot of resizing and moving to achieve the picture in my head. On top of that, I'm really curious how OneSkill PowerPoint is doing, because it's not an easy task we agreed to. In some way it feels like a battle, but it's very fun though, we share the best hobby. I wanted the background to look like an almost poisonous cloud, or maybe a sunset shining through. In this scene I reversed the color brightness, and after I finished the gradients I added some more bushes to fill up the background. In front I placed a rock for the sword, which I of course copied from the cover. All I had to do now was to draw a boy pulling the sword out of the rock. To draw attention to the boy, I copied the entire shape and merged it together to create an accent line. I did the same for the trees and also for the clouds and the boat in the first scene, because everything needs to match with each other. The third and last scene must be the epic one. I imagined a monster coming from the depths to fight the boy with the sword. It's always fun to make a random creature. I loved dinosaurs as a child, and I still do, so I tried to make this an absolute beast too. I copied the boy to use as a reference for a new pose. Then I made some spiky rocks and added the right gradient to the background. This one is cold, like the home of this monster. To make the battle look more fair, I turned the sword into a bright fire blade, so the boy would feel fearless and brave holding it. Some accent lines to bring focus to the front object, and to add a little more 3D to the scene, I drew some clouds. For the second scene I added a few fireflies, and for the first scene I added more clouds. Now was the time to animate every single object. I started with a big black square to reveal every scene. I calculated the perfect rotation and started adding animations to the waves. It worked pretty good, so I made the boat swing, the moon orbit, and then worked on the closing animation of the page. Nice. Next scene is not that hard. I just needed to rotate the trees into the book and let them pop in. To make an animation look more professional, I always add a secondary animation. It could be an object flying in and then bouncing back a little. It's just nice to look at. After a while I made this, and even the boy is pulling his sword. It was kinda hard to notice, so I added the light fading in when the sword comes out. That looked good. Only the fireflies needed some movement, so I made a custom path for that. I was almost done. I worked on the last scene, a lot of fly-in animation. So to make things look more interesting, I rotated the jaw of the monster to go open. When rotating stuff, I always add an invisible shape to the group to trick the selection pane into thinking there's more to the object size. Then it's the same thing again, closing the page and moving everything to the left. All I needed to do now is close the book and maybe some text to the end of the video. For that I remade the PowerPoint logo because I need to stick to the rules. I tweaked the animation and I really wanted to add some music, so I did that, checked everything and exported the video. Done. Now I'm really curious to see how One Skill PowerPoint solved this pop-up book challenge. Let's see what he made. That do be good. Let's roll it again to see how he actually pulled off a really good animated 3D scene in PowerPoint. The page flip, I love it. This is the kind of animation I was afraid of to make. I love how the scenes are so peaceful. That's really cool, One Skill. You did a very good job on this almost impossible task. And I have to say I had a lot of fun making this. I'll leave a link to his channel where he uploaded his video, so be sure to check out this talented man. I hope you enjoyed this video, maybe consider subscribing if you like my content to help me reach more and more people. Have a good day and I'll see you later.